year was 1989, and three legendary drummers, Dave Weckl, Vinnie Colaiuta, and Steve Gadd, appeared on stage together at the Buddy Rich Memorial Concert, hunkered down behind their very late 80s Yamaha drum kits with the hanging floor toms and the very rakishly angled cymbals, and they put on a master class of chops and precision. These three drummers had more in common besides their choice of brand of drum set and their hairstyle. They were all playing the same type of ride cymbal, the legendary K Custom. This is Al's Drum Hang. Welcome back to Al's Drum Hang. So the 80s, if you were there, they were kind of weird times for drummers. Drums were big and thick, and the hardware was massive. As a matter of fact, we got into drum racks right about then, and it was kind of ridiculous. And if the hardware wasn't massive, it was powder coated, and we all had mullets. Thanks, Greg. Thanks. In the 80s, if you wanted to play professional grade Zildjian cymbals, you had three choices. You had the classic A's, you had the newly arrived K's, or you had this new Z thing, which was like manhole covers for rock drummers. That is until about 1987, when Dave Weckl decided he didn't want to play a manhole cover, but he needed something a little bit thicker and livelier than his K ride to project through the electric music of the Chick Corea Electric Band and his other projects. So he sat down with Zildjian and came up with an idea. We would take an unlathed cymbal, similar to the A Earth ride or a Z Power ride, but instead of the machine hammering of the Z ride, we would go ahead and introduce hand hammering to it, plus some machine hammering, but in a completely different pattern. This unique cymbal became what was known as the K Custom, and this is one of them. Lenny DiMuzio, who was Zildjian's director of artist relations at the time, said, "The unique sonic properties of this cymbal make it clear and pingy to carry a ride beat that cuts through in electronic settings, yet is also able to open up enough to produce the dry and trashy crashes that characterize the K Zildjian sound." In the Zildjian catalog of the time, these cymbals are described as medium thin, but I'm here to tell you there's nothing medium thin about this thing. It is basically a hand-hammered Z. It is thick. It is a little clangy, quite honestly. So here is the K Custom, all by itself, just regular on the bow sound. And hear that high glassy overtone coming off. Compare with something thinner like the Omni. Then here is the bell. Compare with the bell of the Omni. Crash. Crash of the Omni. So you can see why this one is just like a better all-around rock cymbal, and this one is a better all-around cymbal for crashing. wanted something that would cut through the band, but still be a little bit darker than an A Earth ride for sure. Not nearly as bright as a Z Power ride, with a little bit of dirt to it. And it was received so well that Vinny and Steve Gadd picked one up. Remember, these things originally came out in 16, 18, 20 diameters. Eventually they made a 22 as well. The 16 was more like an orchestral crash, really. Modern Drummer reviewed it and said it made a great crash. It was too small to be an effective ride. The 18 famously became Steve Gadd's go-to size for K-Customs. And the 20, well, that was Dave Weckle's baby. A couple of years after they came out, I saw the Buddy Rich Memorial Concert with these three guys just wailing on their kits, and there's a K-Custom. I watched that on VHS, by the way. I'm dating myself. Fast forward to 1991. I've moved away from New England, where there were very few drum shops available. And I joined the Army, and I was stationed in Monterey, California. And I came across a small store on Alvarado Street called Abinanti Music. It was the first time I'd been in a store with real professional drum gear. And there, hanging on the wall, was the object of my desire since 1989, a 20-inch K-Custom, this exact cymbal. It was February. It was a short month, and so I plunked down $389, which was 80% of my paycheck that month. Rationalizing, it was a short month, I'd be okay. That ride cymbal became my constant companion for the next 25 years, playing classic rock, hard rock, metal, jazz, big band, swing, Latin, you name it, this ride and I did it. Eventually, as my taste changed, I decided to get a splashier, washier, crashable ride cymbal, and that's when I picked up my AAX Omni. And so the K-Custom's just been kind of sitting back, relegated to the odd recording gig. I might take it out here on something this holiday season, but mostly it stays back here. It's usually background dressing. So why don't I sell my K-Custom? Well, besides the fact that it was my first real professional ride cymbal, and it would be bad luck to do so, I hang on to it because they simply don't make them anymore. In 1991, right around the time I bought this one, the K-Custom line actually diversified. Prior to 1991, there had been a K-Custom. Now all of a sudden they were K-Custom rides, and medium rides, and dry rides, and soon crashes, and hi-hats, and sessions, and special dries. Now there's dozens of K-Custom models. And because of that, the original K-Custom slunk into obscurity. So if it's not a very rare or expensive cymbal, why am I still hanging on to it? Because it was really the point where the cymbal makers stopped just doing stuff in-house and drummers got involved. And this was really a drummer designed cymbal. Remember, at the same time, he also took a K top and Z bottom and made the infamous KZ hi-hats. Boy, those scream 80s, don't they? So anyway, that's the story of my K-Custom. And why, even 6 years after I stopped using it on the regular, I just can't part with it. It is a special moment in cymbal making history. And I think it deserves to be memorialized for just that reason. In my collection. Maybe in yours too. So what do you think? K-Custom, overhyped? Not hyped enough? Sleeper? Well worth the money on the used market right now? Drop a comment. Thanks for hanging out. This is Al's Drum Hang. I will see you next time.